Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to do something that I'm calling a scrunchy background. Don't really know what the name is. It's not my background technique. It was something that I learned from Tim Holtz. Most of these backgrounds I've learned from somebody else, and you kind of tweak them a little bit, and because it's just the basis that's the technique, and then you just use whatever stamps and stencils and things, and they become your own, I suppose. So anyway, starting off with a piece of Sentimentally Yours Super Smooth watercolour card, and basically you scrunch it up. Feels like totally the wrong thing to do, but I mean this is one of the very first background techniques that I learned years and years ago. Must be sort of, I don't know, 15-16 years ago. So you're going to, the best thing is if you can scrunch it right up. I'm not very strong, so, and this is really good card. So the thing is to have lots of peaks and troughs and really distress that card. Okay, that looks good. So you can see we've got lots of ups and downs, even a tear on there, which adds to it. And then I'm going to take a distress ink. This is Wilted Violet, so pick whatever colour you want to. I have got some that are dry of different colours. And then you just want to drag your ink pad directly over the top. It doesn't have to be a big ink pad. It could be one of the little minis. You could use your oxide. The effect is slightly different with oxide because of the oxidisation of the ink. So there we've got it coloured already. Then you want to take a mister and with water in it, and you just want to mist. Remember, distress reacts with water, and you want to mist over the top and just give it a few seconds or minutes or however you want to for that ink to react. And if you think that there's a bit that hasn't got much water on it, you can just add that in. Obviously if there's no water, it's not going to move around. And then what I've got is heating up here. I've got an acoustic art iron. It's the only ironing I ever do, which is craft. And I've got it on high. And now we're going to iron our paper, our card, and sizzle. And what you're doing now is you're stopping the moving of the ink, and you're flattening your paper. Okay. And obviously the amount of water that you put on the back will mean that you may or may not have any white patches, because there's some white patches there. That means there wasn't so much water there. Where there's more water, it means that your background's actually changed to that lovely purple colour. I'm just going to unplug that. To clean it, you obviously want to clean the ink off your iron. So wait until the iron's cold and then mist it with water, and you can clean it off. That's how I do it anyway. If you mist it while it's still hot, all that's going to happen is that the water's going to dry immediately. So you want to put that aside to dry, and I normally put it under my MDF sheet once it's dry. But it's really, it's fabulous as it is. You don't need to do anything to it, but we're going to. Let's just clean that off. It's almost a sin where it is not to use that ink, but look at the way that vintage Wilted Violet splits. It's got pinks in it. Lovely colour. Right, so I've got one that I did and it's dry, and this one is Uncharted Mariner Distressing. Oh no, it's not. It's not Broken China. It is Uncharted Mariner Distressing, which I do have in stock. All the distress inks and oxides are in stock on my website, juliawattscrafts.co, including the lumberjack plaid. I've still got some of that in stock. Where's the cat again? Oh. This cat drives me nuts. So this is dry, and you can see I've had more water here and less here where I've got the white patches. So we could use that as is and it'd be absolutely wonderful. Obviously you can use your washi tapes on here, you can, you know, fussy cut and add to it, but what you can actually do is do some stencil work on top if you wanted. So this is an IndigoBlu stencil, an A5 stencil. Again, I do have it in stock on my website. If it happens to be out of stock, then you can get it from IndigoBlu. I just want my, what have I done with them? There they are. My brushes. I take a blue one. I don't have any of the small brushes left from Studio Light, but I do have some of the large ones. This is Broken China Distress Ink. So we're just going to add a little bit more detail over the top. Obviously you can, I've got one that I've done before, I'll show you. So it's up to you what you do to it. Obviously it's not completely flat because we've got creases in there. So if you wanted to stamp an image on, I would suggest, you know, like a silhouette or something, like one of the Fairy Hug stamps. I would definitely use my stamping platform. And you might still see the creases underneath. But then you could fussy cut as well and just pop something on top. I am going for an all over here rather than just a section. Let's see how it's going. Oh, it's quite nice in the background there. Just a hint, because obviously Broken China is lighter than your Uncharted Baroness. Think perhaps about the colours that you're using. So obviously in hindsight I might have done Broken China as the background and then put Uncharted Mariner on top if I wanted the stenciled image to be more prominent, but actually I don't. I do want it to be quite subtle there in the background. Well, you can see that beautifully. Okay, so then we can actually do some stamping on top as well if we want to. So I've got IndigoBlu rivets, wires and letters. I do have a couple of these left in stock. I think they're at a really good price on my website. So these are kind of great background stamps. And so I thought it would be nice to do them with Acorn Burst Vine Claire. Let's get a block. I do quite like bigger blocks actually, where I can really hold them. Let's grab a piece of paper. So that you don't make too much of a mess with this one there. And I've gone for Acorn because I think brown and blue work really nicely together. You can do this in your hand, of course, but this is quite a random image anyway. Does it have an up and a down? I think it does. No, it doesn't. It's all over the place. Excellent. Don't need to work out where we're going with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it won't be because of the crinkly background. Oh, I'm liking that. Isn't that fabulous? Let's go across a bit. Wouldn't necessarily use this as a complete background. I would perhaps cut it up. So I've missed the middle a little bit there. That's fine, it doesn't matter. Instead of going right across, let's do this. Let's go here. Okay, happy with that. I'm always tempted to do a little bit more. Let's do a little bit in the corner up the top. Perhaps a little bit in the corner at the bottom. Step away from the stamps. Oh, let's do it this way. Not quite as symmetrical. Right, okay, so that's that one. Let's just wipe that off a second. And we've also got, we use all three actually of these. Let's go for a different colour. Let's go for one of the dark blues. So this is Medieval Blue. And we'll overlap a bit. Oh, I'm liking that stamp. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Remember, it's a background. Backgrounds are fun. They're not something to stress over at all. In fact, they're better if you don't think about them. Look at that. That's great as a net, actually. You know, if you're using some of the Under the Sea stamps, perhaps some Fairy Hugs, or from IndigoBlu, or even some of Trudy Howard's for Sentimentally Yours, using some of those. And because we've got them, let's use these rivets as well. And we could perhaps do one just top and bottom, which I think might be quite nice. So let's go for a darker brown. This is Pine Cone. So I'm not really thinking about this. Aside from getting the stamps out, I'm not really thinking about it. This is a fabulous background. I'm very happy with that. Those rivets. All three of these stamps I'm using in the background are all on the same stamp set. I've only got a couple left. Once again, they're called Rivets, Wire and Letters from IndigoBlu. And you'll find them on my website there. So let's just do that one there. I'm liking that. Just about to see them at the top. Let's get rid of that. And just about to see them at the bottom. Obviously you can put them wherever you want to. But happy with that. I probably wouldn't do anything else to that except perhaps edge with a bit of ink. Decide what I'm going to put on as to whether I want to use the whole thing or whether I want to use a smaller version of it. But I think that's really cool. If you're not into something that's as dark as that, then I do have this one. This one I did quite some time ago, and it's got this. I believe this is aged mahogany on this one, so it's actually lightened quite a bit, and it could be because it's been made for a number of years, at least 2 years, that it could have lightened a little bit anyway. But I think from the depth of the colour that you can see there it's aged mahogany. And we've got, this is one of the stamps from Sentimentally Yours in the background, and I think that's Trudy Howard's net stencil on the background there. So obviously those two are quite different. There's less ink on this one, more open, so whatever you want to. And then this one is almost, because the watercolour card is very absorbent, that one's almost dry now. So it's almost ready to work on, and you can see with the Wilted Violet we've got a little bit of pink coming out here and there, which is quite nice. So that will be ready to work on once it's dry, but as I said, I would put that underneath my board that I've got under here to flatten it out before I actually stamp on it. So I hope you've enjoyed my scrunchy background. Please remember to like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, which is where you are now. And just as a reminder, you can find all the products that I've used at juliawattscrafts.co.uk for shipping to UK addresses. And thank you very much for watching.